Welcome to the Washed and Sanctified YouTube channel, where we examine the truths of Christianity and push back against the wave of deconstruction that's so common in our world today. I'm Mickey, and in this video, we're tackling a big question. Is belief in God really illogical? Let's take a closer look. So before we can examine Christianity being true, we must first look at whether there is a being that exists whom we can call God. And according to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, man's faculties make him capable of coming to a knowledge of the existence of a personal God. This means that if someone truly examines the world around them, they can reason their way to the conclusion that God exists, even before divine revelation. One of the greatest theologians of the Church, St. Thomas Aquinas, put forth 5 proofs that we can know God exists. Let's look at them briefly. So the first way is argument from motion. God as pure act, the unmoved mover. So everything we see of the world is in motion. We know that an object at rest remains at rest unless acted upon by another force. Whatever is in motion is put in motion by another. Now, it is not possible that the same thing should be at once in motion and at rest in the same respect, but only in different respects. Therefore, whatever is in motion must be put in motion by another. If that by which it is put in motion be itself put in motion, then this also must needs be put in motion by another, and that by another again. But this cannot go on to infinity, because then there would be no first mover, and consequently no other mover. Therefore, it is necessary to arrive at a first mover, put in motion by no other. And this everyone understands to be God. That's from the Summa, Book 1, Question 2, Answer 3. So in simple terms, something cannot move itself. You can't have an infinite chain of movers, because then motion would never begin. There must be a first mover unmoved by anything else. That unmoved mover we call God. The second way is an argument from causation. God as the first cause. In the world of sense, we find there is an order of efficient causes. There is no case known, neither is it indeed possible, in which a thing is found to be the efficient cause of itself. For so it would be prior to itself, which is impossible. Now, in efficient causes, it is not possible to go on to infinity, because in all efficient causes following in order, the first of the cause of the intermediate cause, and the intermediate is the cause of the ultimate cause, whether the intermediate cause be several or only one. Now, to take away the cause is to take away the effect. Therefore, if there be no first cause among efficient causes, there will be no ultimate, nor any intermediate cause. But if in efficient causes it is possible to go on to infinity, there will be no first efficient cause. Neither will there be an ultimate effect, nor any intermediate efficient causes, all of which is plainly false. Therefore, it is necessary to admit a first efficient cause to which everyone gives the name of God. That's Book 1, Question 2, Answer 3 from the Summa Theologiae. The Catechism echoes this teaching where it says God is the first cause who operates in and through secondary causes. And this can be summed up like this. Everything that exists has a cause. For example, the cause of my being comes from my parents. I cannot cause myself. Therefore, there must be a first cause that is itself uncaused, the ultimate cause of all causation, that is God. And if we take a look at the third way, which is the argument from Contingency, which is God as a necessary being. St. Thomas says, we find in nature things that are possible to be and not to be, since they are found to be generated and to corrupt. But it is impossible for these always to exist, for that which is possible not to be at some time is not. Therefore, if everything is possible not to be, then at one time there could have been nothing in existence. Now, if this were true, even now there would be nothing in existence, because that which does not exist begins to exist only through something already existing. Therefore, not all beings are merely possible, but there must exist something the existence of which is necessary. But every necessary thing either has its necessity caused by another or not. It is impossible to go on to infinity in necessary things which have their necessity caused by another. Therefore, we cannot but postulate the existence of some being having of itself its own necessity and not receiving it from another. but rather causing in others their necessity. This all men speak of as God. So in short, nothing comes from nothing. No thing can come from no thing. Everything that exists depends on something else for its existence. Because this chain cannot go back infinitely, there must be a necessary being which upon everything else depends, and that necessary being is God. The argument from the fourth way is degrees of perfection, or God as absolute goodness. The Catechism summarizes this principle as all creatures bear a certain resemblance to God, most especially man, created in the image and likeness of God. The manifold perfections of creatures, their truth, their goodness, their beauty, all reflect the infinite perfection of God. Their perfections are a participation in the infinite perfection of God. St. Thomas writes, among beings there are some more and some less good, true, noble, and the like. Now, the more and the less are predicated of different things, according as they resemble in their different ways something which is the maximum. Therefore, there must also be something which is to all beings the cause of their being, goodness, and every other perfection. And this we call God. Essentially, we recognize goodness. We recognize degrees of goodness, beauty, and truth. But comparison only makes sense if there exists an absolute standard, the ultimate source of all perfection, the ultimate standard of goodness, truth, and beauty. And that ultimate source is God. The fifth and final way is an argument from design, God as intelligent director. The fifth way is taken from the governance of the world. This is St. Thomas. We see that things which lack knowledge, such as natural bodies, act for an end, and this is evident from their acting always or nearly always in the same way so as to obtain the best result. Hence, it is plain that they achieve their end, not fortuitously, but designedly. Now, whatever lacks knowledge cannot move towards an end unless it be directed by some being endowed with knowledge and intelligence, as the arrow is directed by the archer. Therefore, some intelligent being exists by whom all natural things are directed to their end, and this being we call God. In simple terms, trees grow toward the sun, acorns become trees, not watermelons, the planet orbits the sun in a stable, life-permitting harmony, but none of these things think about what they're doing. Yet they consistently act for a purpose. When a house is built, we assume a builder. Therefore, nature's order points to a mind, a source of direction and intelligence, who ordered all things. That mind we call God. So to sum everything up, in nature we observe motion, causation, existence, gradation, and order. All of these realities point to a transcendent being who is necessary for them to exist. Motion, God is a pure act. Causation, God is the first cause. Contingency, God is a necessary being. Degrees of perfection, God is an absolute goodness. Design, God is intelligent designer. Therefore, they converge to a single truth. God exists not as a vague idea, but as a necessary foundation of all reality. Next week, we'll talk about how we can know that the Christian God is the necessary being who has revealed himself through the Jewish people and then perfectly through Jesus Christ. Make sure to leave any questions you have in the comments below. And remember, Christ is King.